This is the Washington Times front page for Tuesday, September 27th, 2022. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Russian President Vladimir Putin has granted citizenship to former National Security Agency contractor Edward Snowden. Foreign editor Dave Sands reports Russian officials said the grant, included in a list of 75 foreign nationals given citizenship rights by the Kremlin, came at Snowden's request. Russia has refused to extradite Snowden to the United States, where prosecutors want to charge him with illegal leaks they say hurt U.S. national security and put covert intelligence agents and assets at risk. Snowden fled the U.S. in 2013 after releasing a massive trove of internal NSA documents, including explosive revelations of secret intelligence data collection and overseas surveillance programs. Iran has accused the U.S. and Europe of directly fueling the popular uprising that has gripped the Islamic Republic. Ben Wolfgang reports while the West has threatened more economic sanctions on Iran and called for a more immediate end to the brutality with which Iranian security forces are treating protesters. The massive demonstrations across Iran, sparked by the September 16th death of a 22-year-old woman while in the custody of the country's morality police, have claimed hundreds of lives and led to thousands of arrests, according to Iranian dissident organizations. It's the first wave of major protests to hit Iran since hardline President Ibrahim Raisi took office last year, and the largest since a nationwide uprising in 2019, sparked by a massive hike in fuel prices. The aging leaders of the theocratic regime there have turned back repeated domestic challenges in their 4 decades of rule, but the persistence of the protests could prove the most serious threat to their powers. The migrant smuggling economy at the U.S. Mexico border now tops $20 billion, according to an analysis by R. Stephen Dinan. Mexican immigrants are paying an average of $8,600 in total smuggling fees to cartels this year. That's up roughly $2,000 from 2019, the last pre-pandemic year under the Trump administration. Migrants from El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala are paying about $11,500 for the trip, up from $9,000 in 2020 and $7,900 in 2019, Stevens' data shows. Those rates are averages across the southern border. Migrants pay a little less in parts of Texas and a little more in California. You can read all of these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. You can also find our entire lineup of news, commentary, and sports podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. A group laboring to draft Ron DeSantis for a presidential run in 2024 is building a valuable contact list the Florida governor could mine for donations. The only problem is that it may not be legal. Susan Ferricchio reports the Federal Election Commission is deadlocked on whether the Ready for Ron Political Action Committee can give the Florida governor a list of emails and phone numbers it's been collecting since May in hopes of persuading DeSantis to launch a presidential campaign. The FEC left the matter in legal limbo when commissioners voted 3-3 this month on whether Ready for Ron can provide the list to DeSantis, either before or after he considers his candidacy. The PAC is collecting about 1,000 contacts a day and is on track to acquire 60,000 signatures, accompanied by emails and phone numbers, by the end of the month. And finally, the leaker of a draft opinion in the ruling overturning Roe v. Wade has yet to be identified more than 5 months after the breach and a week before the Supreme Court opens its 2022 session. Court watchers from both sides of the aisle tell our Alex Sawyer the leaker has changed the course of the court and likely made trust and confidentiality issues more relevant. No public updates have been issued 5 months after Chief Justice John Roberts announced an investigation into the leak. Aside from speculation over who leaked the document, legal scholars are debating whether the leak constitutes a crime. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.